So this is the video that I told you about that was about the all the words coming to mind is parachute, parawa, but it's umbrellas. So it was, you know, the weather here, there's a lot of rain, but I was trying to make rain beautiful. So I start by taping down a piece of watercolor paper, and all of my watercolor boards were occupied. So I just grabbed one of my, oh, what are they called? Folders. They're called folders, I think. Maybe not. So this one is one of those plastic ones that, so I have this a little bit of a tilt, and I used to always paint. When I painted with watercolors, I always had a small tilt to my watercolors. So as you can see, I'm just taping it down. I'm using that purple tape that isn't very strong, which sometimes is a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. For this painting, I'm going with Antwerp Blue and quinacridone Magenta. And the quinacridone Magenta in the video looks kind of a little bit pinkish. So I might have had some residue from the permanent rose, which is right next to it. But make sure you mist your paper, add the water, and just put some paint down. So I didn't really have a plan. I just wanted to do something with purple and blue because it, you know, rain, mood. So I didn't really have a plan other than I wanted the sky to be blue even though it was raining, because I was going to add people with umbrellas on it. Sometimes it really doesn't make sense when I say it out loud, but in my head it works really, really well. This is also one of my favorite parts of a painting, just watching the paint flow on the paper, tilting it. I'm adding some more water because obviously I didn't think it was moving enough, and I want the feeling of rain to come forth in this painting, and that's a matter of taste. So I can't tell you how you have to paint rain. This is obviously one of my rainy days. This is what I do with a rainy day, and just watching paint. So I'm trying to remove some of the excess water from this tape because I know that this tape is just going to come off if it's too wet. So just removing some of that excess water from the paint, and then leaving it to dry. Okay, I had some dusty bits, so I had to remove them. And when I remove dusty bits from my paintings, I use the tip of a clean brush that is dry. So I rinse it and I dry it out with a piece of paper, and now I'm removing some of that excess water because it looked like I was getting a puddle in the middle. And then I tried to move the paint again because I didn't want a big puddle in the middle because that's gonna mess up my rainy day kind of. So no real plan, just watching paint dry and letting it move the way it wants to move and hoping for the best. The best way to paint a watercolor is to try and let it do its thing. So after a while, when I think I'm fairly happy, I just put it to the side and hope that this is going to dry nicely, or in whatever way or form this watercolor wants to dry today. And then I grab my art journal or watercolor journal, the one I do all my sketching in, and I decide to figure out how to paint umbrellas. So I might not do them just out of my head. So this is me just figuring out one umbrella. What does it look like if I see it from the side, and then I paint it that way. Then I try to figure out what people look like and what umbrellas look like from other angles. And I try to use my journals for figuring things out. They don't have to be nice. They don't have to be great. This is me just fiddling and adding color and testing stuff. So this is a guy, obviously, and then I figure out he looks kind of skinny, so I give him arms. And then I start, so just a person that's a round thing, and then maybe a triangle, and then add some leggy parts. So the only way to do this is people watching. One of my favorite places to people watch is the library, because people move very slowly in libraries. So I'm adding some ground, and as you can see, the umbrella is huge in comparison to my people. So this is just me figuring out how do I how do I do umbrellas, how do I do people, and how can I simplify them even more. So this is just a huge triangle that I kind of dragged out and add a head to. And then I'm thinking, do I like this? Because I used to do a lot of paintings with triangles with just dots on top. Those were my people. So always going for the simplest version you figure out. So if you find something too hard to paint, simplify it. Don't bother with the details, just simplify. So this is the part where I said, oh yeah, I did this thing, which I thought was funny. So this is, you can see how the tape has kind of, it's coming off the paper. I don't mind though. So this is when the background was dry and I started adding masking fluid on top of the dried paint because I wanted to have something that had paint underneath where I added masking fluid on top. So you can see the difference of painting negative and painting positive. So this is me adding the masking fluid as a positive to get a negative. I hope that makes sense. Because usually when we want to try and work around, when we try to paint in a negative way, not in a negative way, but negatively. So trying to figure out where to add paint to let something else come out, then we have to be very careful. But adding masking fluid, we can just put paint all over the place. So this is me demonstrating what it looks like when we paint positively with masking fluid on a background that was already painted, completely dry. You have to let that watercolor dry for at least 24 hours before adding masking fluid. If you add masking fluid to watercolor paper that is damp in any way, it's gonna rip when you take it off. So avoid that at any cost. When adding masking fluid to a background, make sure it is 100% dry. So this is a little bit later, after adding the background to one of the flowers in the back. So this is me when I'm gonna go, I'm thinking, should I do the positives first? Yes. So I start drawing from my sketches the umbrellas, and I do some positive painting on the background. And then when I'm completely sure that the masking fluid is completely dry, I'll add water just straight on top of everything and add a different paint on top and hope for the best. This is really the best way to paint watercolor, where you just add stuff and hope for the best. Having a paper behaving the way that you'll enjoy painting on. So this is what I like about, if I ever use masking fluid, it's because I need the details of something that comes out from somewhere. So it's just a matter of when and how and why. Have fun. Don't worry too much about the product. Just have fun. So for the last part of this video, you see me, I'm using a white, in England we always said rubber, but you say erasers. So I'm gonna go with eraser. So you see, because if we use a white eraser, it just removes the masking very softly. And when there's a lot of detail, that's actually the best way to do it. And it's so nice to reveal and remove the masking tape. So you have this white area around the watercolor. And I'm really happy with this one. I think it looks super nice and like a nice rainy day. And you can actually make either side a painting on its own.